I am so done with Tower of Fantasy. And honestly, I didn't like the game from the start, but somehow I managed to convince myself that the game was good for whatever reason, and I played much more than I thought I would. But at this point, I just can't keep pretending that Tower of Fantasy is a good game, and I just had to make this video explaining why I hate it so much and why I am so done with it. So the main thing I really hate about Tower of Fantasy is something I'm currently engaged in right now, and that is its combat. This entire video thus far, I've actually been fighting a boss, and if we exit out of the menu here, we see that I've only taken 10% of my health and damage. It feels like I'm playing in developer mode, which, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually was the case given all the bugs in the game. But in its current state, if you manage to die in Tower of Fantasy from any overworld enemy, then you're just an idiot. So, speaking of bugs, there's my character just sliding about with no care. And quick side tangent on this, I do not find the bugs funny anymore, like at all. Like, I'm not having a laugh here. Sure, the first time I turned into a giant cyclops, or the first time my head came off, it was funny. But like an overused meme, running into these same bugs over and over again just becomes annoying and very unfunny. Anyways, toss that mini rant aside, seeing that bug just triggered me, but let's engage the enemy here so I can show you the other thing I hate about combat in this game. So if I approach and just start slapping the boss around here, we see that I do like no damage. And my weapons are all level 20, so they should be over leveled for this level 16 boss. And sure, part of my damage is lacking here because I don't click the mouse button fast, but that is just another issue I have with the combat. I just don't find it satisfying when the main skill in the combat is how fast you can click the mouse button. Like, honestly, why can't these new games take some notes from Elden Ring for their combat? Short but difficult encounters where learning the burst windows matters is what made Elden Ring so great. But Tower of Fantasy's combat is nothing like this, it's just harmless enemies with large HP pools. It's like the devs for Tower of Fantasy played Elden Ring and thought, huh, interesting, what if we do the exact opposite of this? The combat is just very unsatisfying, boring, and lame, and very boring. Okay, so finally defeated the boss. So one thing I do like about this game is the ability to skip cutscenes. However, when you do click the skip button here, you'll see that the continue button is blue and on the right. So this basically baits you in continuing the cutscene accidentally, since humans associate the color blue and rightwardsness as meaning confirming an action. It's just really annoying that I always hit the wrong button when I mean to skip a cutscene in this game, just due to its poor UI design. Anyways, that is just another side complaint I had. The other reason I truly hated Tower of Fantasy is that it is an MMO game, and for some reason we've decided that that excuses it from it being terrible in every aspect. Like every time I or others will make criticisms of the game, especially when comparing it to Genshin Impact, we get told off, it's like this because it's an MMO. The combat is janky, I keep lagging, the story is bad, the map looks like it was generated in Roblox Studio. All of this is acceptable just because Tower of Fantasy is an MMO. But the thing is, where the fuck is anyone? Like, I'm in the major city of the second zone right now, and I see absolutely no other player. I've only seen players AFK'd at the main Tower of Fantasy place thingy, probably because they're all doing summons, because gambling for waifus is the only fun thing this game really has to offer. But honestly, you can just do that in a better anime mobile game. Oh, hello there. This is me playing Tower of Fantasy. I think I'll screen cap this for the thumbnail. Okay, if I recall correctly, I originally gave Tower of Fantasy a 3.4 out of 10, but then I raised my score to a 5.8 out of 10. Well, I think my original score was more precise, so I would like to finalize my score as being a 2.8 out of 10.